There are several different ways to sew on a one-hole sequin. I'm going to start off by showing you how to basically just bisect the sequin when you put it on. I already have my beginning tack done, and I will just take my needle and I put it right through the one hole in the sequin. Just as when we were sewing our buttons on, I want to make sure my sequin hole is right over the beginning tack. And I'll try and hold my sequin down so it doesn't travel. And I'll put my thread down right about noon. If this was a clock, this would be 12 o'clock. I'll pull my thread down. And again, just as when we were sewing on the buttons, I look at the back of my work as often as I look at the front of my work. I'm going to try and get my needle in right around where my beginning tack was, just so it doesn't look sloppy on the back. I brought my needle up again, right through the center hole. We're bisecting the sequin, so that means cutting it in half. So I will then put my needle down right around 6 o'clock, if this were a clock. Now, if you're working on your felt project and you're putting several sequins on, you could certainly do an end tack on the back. And then you don't have to cut entire thread. You can travel it over to where your next sequin will be. To do your end tack, remember you just take your needle. I like to go under 2, 3, or 4 of the white threads. I don't pull my needle completely out or completely through. I then take the needle and I put it through the loop. There's one. I try and get in and out of the same holes as I used previously. Through the loop. I like to do this 3 times. 2 is probably sufficient, but I like to do 3 just in case. Since your felt projects are not going to be worn and they won't be put in the washing machine every week, it's okay just to do the 1 stitch on the top and then the 2nd stitch on the bottom. And as I said before, if we're going to put another sequin on, we can just travel our thread. Let's say we want another sequin over here. That would be fine. I'll just caution you that if you do use dark thread on a light piece of fabric or felt, many times you can see the thread right through the back, so you'll have to be careful about that. If you're only putting 1 sequin on, then we can go ahead and finish off our end tack. We did our 3 little stitches here, then we'll cut our threads. Stow my needle so I don't lose it. And then I separate the threads and I do a nice overhand tie. 1, 2. And there's no need for the threads on the back of my work, so I trim them, making sure I don't cut my end tack off. And it's the first way to put your sequin on.